Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek. And it's Star Trek. Even our diversities are diverse. My topic today, coming at you right from your home, with the big picture and clarity, insanity, and all of Star Trek. Coming at you from Trekland right through Portal 47. Yes, it's Trekland Tuesdays live. If you didn't believe me. And I've got an interesting topic for you today. Welcome, everybody. I don't have the chat open. Oh, my goodness. But if you're new to us, if you're back with us again, you know, come on into the chat, join the community that we've got going. And if you're new, yes, the chat is rolling along. I'll be back in to talk with it again. But after I talk about my soapbox here, and then we'll take a midway break. We'll look at the Parrot Analytics ratings for streaming TV. And then we'll get live chat full time. So Twitchers, beware. I won't be in with you until after my midway break, okay? But yes, some things occurred to me the last couple weeks. Now, look, I don't know if any of you have seen it. I highly recommend going over to Jesse Gender's YouTube channel and checking out his holiday special. It's a hell of a lot more fun than Andy Williams' 1966. No, what's interesting, but he starts off with one of her. Excuse me, Jesse, I am so sorry. Hey, you got to give some of us a little time there. But Jesse, she's got a great one of her normal topics, right, that people have subscribed for. Tens of thousands of people are subscribing. What's fun is at the end, there is a little holiday special that she put together that I was thrilled to be a part of. It's a lot of fun. And watching it put together live last Friday, it dawned on me that it is a big relief. All the faces of the guest star YouTubers that she had in there. It's Star Trek Today. It reminded me just a couple of years ago. Some of you may go back far enough with me to remember I had a Tuesdays Live called Who Mocks the Mockers? When in the revolution of new Star Trek that we came back, that the comeback of Discovery and the end of the fallow times heralded was a lot of bad stuff out there on YouTube. And I was wondering when the sanity wave would wash in, if it would at all, or were we just sentenced to a life of crazy on Star Trek on YouTube? Because the power of YouTube to totally overwrite whatever people were merely putting out on paper in words and on this, you know, sad little live stream called Facebook. The power of YouTube was amazing. And thankfully, though, the last couple of years, we've had an explosion of forces, of voices, more podcasters, a lot of podcasters coming over to YouTube. And that wall of faces that she assembled is testament to that. Yay. Yay. But what struck me watching that wall of faces, well, I don't know. I had a flashback moment. It was really funny because I looked at that and they're all great. It's all the voices, but it reminded me how I'm really a minority fan and always have been. And that's nothing against anybody that I saw taking part in that. And there's plenty more YouTubers after that weren't a part of that. I mean, how do you corral that many? But that was a chunk. It just struck me that most of the faces and voices that I saw in that wall, they're all about the feels and the merch and shipping and themes, and that's all wonderful. It's all wonderful. They weren't so much about, and I say this loosely, they weren't so much about the facts, and I don't mean they weren't factual. I'm talking about canon facts, or they weren't about the makers so much and factoids. Maybe I should say factoids, because the makers and the factoids, you guys know me. That's my jam. I mean, but again, I say this, it's all great. And you know what? Most of those faces and voices, they didn't exist 10 years ago. I mean, I'm taking the long look at this, but that's what our fandom revolution in the twists and turns has been. 10 years ago, I was recovering from the Great Recession and trying to figure out where the hell fandom was, what I was going to do in it. And it was the fallow years when we would even survive that. But no, Friday, it was wonderful to see that. I was just taking a survey and realizing and having a flashback. Having a flashback to the early days when having friends meant people that were flesh and blood that you talked to, or having a page meant you were probably, I don't know, a knight of the realm. Yeah. And look, it's something else too. Over on our Life Support Live page, if you don't watch us on Saturdays, I totally invite you to. We go boldly through uncertain times with Dr. Ali Matu. Two doctors, one of us fake. You heard me talk about here. You heard me talk about Life Support Live, and a lot of you are there with us. And one of our community members there, Tim Hands, who is often here too, had a poll up. Said, hey, we're all civil. We all appreciate all of Star Trek, but be honest and be civil. What is the one movie or series that just never appealed to you? And it was, it's just a poll. Not stirring anything up, just everybody being honest. And, not unsurprisingly, well, there was a tie for number one so far. And these are all small numbers. The tie for number one was between Stid, Into Darkness, not a surprise. And the other one but the tie for first place was Picard. Now, this is our Life Support Live community voting here, right? So this is about the feeling side of Star Trek. So maybe that's not unsurprising. But that echoed something I'd seen. Well, I love Picard. So I was curious to see what people were saying. And the fact that Discovery was number 5 on this list with ties was interesting too. So I don't judge, but I'm still curious why. And the main reason I see people citing is that there's a perception, there's a belief, a feeling that Picard is too depressing, that the people are too broken to be really good Star Trek. And I almost want to say, did you see Discovery season 1? But I know the point is Discovery's had 3 years to unwind. It's had 3 years to evolve. I hate to say seasons because they're tiny toy seasons, but it's definitely had 3 years of marinating in real time. And Picard's probably ahead for some of that. But it was interesting because there are parts of Picard I didn't appreciate. I thought most of the cube time between the incest twins was kind of wasted and tokenly angsty. It was almost like we have to write these scenes because people watching streaming TV today won't know what to think if there's not at least some dark, gloomy, mood-lit scenes between two villains pontificating at each other. I get that. But overall, and with the heroes, was interesting. I'm watching Picard and just being thrilled that, well, it's what fandom wanted. Let's have a series beyond Nemesis. And I was thrilled to see what the official canonized look of the post-Nemesis Star Trek world was going to look like. And much less what I'm going to call the revenge of the Romulans. The poor guys that for years and decades were looked at as boring. How much Romulan background from the Colmanat and the warrior nuns onward. Everything. The XB's fascination, whatever. But anyway, so much Romulan infill and background, and still more to come. Not so much on the other cultures and species, but that was a catch up for them. And to look at all the glimpses of Starfleet and yada, yada, yada. I was fine. I had my critiques, but I was fine. But to put it as the one series out of all that didn't resonate with you. But again, it brought me back to this feeling of I'm you know what? The more things change, the more I have been blessed to contribute on a mass scale to the franchise through books, through editing, through even be a participant in fan films. Whatever the thing is, these recent events, looking at Jessie's wall, the people that she assembled, looking at even bits and pieces of even the communities that I've helped start, it comes back. So I don't know. What does that mean? That back in the day when I was a kid and I was reading the pages of Interstat, which at that time was probably at the highest level fan conversation you can be part of, and excited to be there I mean, a subscriber, reading letters, writing letters, having my letters published, your multi-answer long replies, but realizing that 3/4 of this was about these women talking about Spock and Vulcans. And I mean, really, do we really need or even the fanzine, Trek magazine, the old fanzine one, the one from which the Best of Trek paperbacks are pulled. Do I really want to read there and everywhere else the 47th version of someone's interpretation of Spock and Layla in This Side of Paradise? Do I really want to see that? I just want to build out the universe that this is. I just want to, can we get on with that? Do I really need to see these for the umpteenth million time? And then podcast world and YouTube world said, hold my beer, 1980s Interstat. So again, it's all good. I'm just apparently in the minority. And of course, I'm not looking down on that. I just take that in stride as a given and move on. But that's where so many people want to park and do their thing with Star Trek, and that's wonderful. All I'm saying here is it's brought home to me again. There's a whole world out there to explore and track and file and dot connect, and and then to BTS over later. But here we are in this new era of makers and talkers. And I'm back at square one. I'm laughing about this. But here we are, finding my own way to do what I want to do. I guess back in the day, I was one of the earliest. That was before we had the word for it. I was a gatekeeper, looking up for me as a minority in fandom, not loudly, just trying to plant my flag and have my own little corner and see if there was anybody out there. Back in the letter and stamp days, yeah, there were like 6 or 8 people out there. Today, thanks to the internet, there's 60 or 80, averaging out to 74, maybe. I don't know. But it's all good. It's all good. It's just the way it is. But it's amazing to me of the diversity of the diversities that Star Trek attracts. And one of them is, the canonistas that I say lovingly, as I say on the Trek Files. But everybody's finding their way. Whatever floats your boat, guys, whatever warps your starship, it's good. It's good. Whether you're in the minority or we live in a time when it's easier than ever to be in the minority, and it's easier than ever to find your kinfolk in your passion in Star Trek or in anything. In anything. I guess, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. We're back at square one. I feel like a kid again. In a lot of ways, Star Trek has come home, and I feel young as when the fandom was new. Anyway, if you haven't gone over and seen Jessie Gender's holiday special, go over. She put a ton of time in it, and yes, it starts off as a regular, and there's no joke. It's a regular topical, for 30, 40 minutes. It's the last. You can advance if you want to. It's the last part that's really very fun, very clever. She put a ton of time into it. And a lot of people are spotlighted that jumped in different ways. And a lot of surprises, obviously, along the way. And I'll mention it here before we take a break. But if I intrigued you with our Life Support Live show and our audience and our community there, welcome to have you with us. We're taking the week off. Well, I'll mention that in a minute. So I'm going to take a break here. Hang on. After the break, if you're with us live and if you're with us on Facebook, no worries. I'll be right there. If you're with us on YouTube, I'm about to sign off. I don't know if today's soapbox resonates with anybody, but it resonates with me. It just made me smile. Things have come full circle again. We have a whole new media here for people to express themselves about Trek, and it might as well be 1982 with stamps and paper and ink and zines and letter of comment zines, Loke zines. It's just amazing. I had not thought about it until I saw that wall of faces at the end of her special. and then saw it coming at me from different angles too. It's fun. It's hysterical. And I wouldn't take anything for it. I guess you could even subdivide that bunch. Thanks to Memory Alpha now and all of that. Everything has been industrialized. But yes, I do. Things have come full circle. Star Trek is healthy. Despite the downsides and the dark corners at times, that's always been there. It's just amplified and more public. But, you know, guys, we really have come home again. Now, if you enjoyed this, I want to thank out here our Patreons, our TTL Club, and our Live Wires. So, yes, thank you, Blaze K. Thank you, Lawrence Todd. Thank you, Blake Arledge. And our Live Wires, thank you, Rusty Harrell. Get well, man. Jared Cooper, Eli Irvin, Halbert Gunn Johnson, Jalen Bullock, Gary Williams, and Robert McLean. Thank you. Thank you, guys and gals, so much for the help. If you want to know what's going on with that, it's Patreon. You can do it with all kinds of creators. You can support them one-off or ongoing. This is my ongoing. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. Very simple, a $5 and a $10 a month support level. 5. They both get my shout out here and appreciation. The $10 get access to early years of our guest interviews, our behind the scenes maker interviews from Portal 47. So thank you all for that. And hey, before I leave you here on YouTube in the short version, just want to say that it's too late to mail, but if you don't care about that and you want to gift folks, if you want to send a gift this Christmas of deep diving in Star Trek the Portal 47 way, the most affordable way, and so far the most popular as an offer, is our Portal 47 in a box. It's not just a picture, it's a real thing. It's a 6-month plan. You pay for 4. You get some extra swag in the box. You can give it as a gift if you don't care about Christmas arrival now. It's good through the end of the year. And of course, who deserves a gift for surviving this year better than you do? I don't care who you give it to. You tell me, and if the name on the gift certificate matches your name, I don't say a word. I just say welcome aboard. Anyway, that's up. Also, what is up now is, yay, finally, our season 6 return for the Trek Files. It's up. It's a visit with Gracely Whitney's son, Jonathan Dweck. You want to come, Jonathan Whitney Dweck, I should point out, and you want to come hear what he has to say about his mom. We found an interesting document that people forget about from the early days of the original series, and it ties in so much to Hollywood today. And he was a great witness. Yeah. So yes, we're back finally. Longest hiatus ever, but we're there and we're rolling out episodes now. It's been so much fun to get back in the Trek Files groove with Roddenberry Network and all the other great Roddenberry shows that are still ongoing. But look us up. We're the only podcast with paperwork. And like I mentioned, live support live. We're actually taking the holiday off. Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. But we're having a special, pay attention, we're having a special watch along. It's going to be Tapestry at this time on Monday the 28th at 1 p.m. You are welcome. If you've never seen an episode, if you've never been part of our community before, you're welcome to spend part of your Christmas break with us. Dr. Ali and I are going, you bring your own media. It's a BYOM. We will chat and comment through Tapestry. If you're part of the live support live audience, you know, Tapestry means a lot to Dr. Ali, and it means a lot for me to rib him about it. All in good. But yes, we will be boldly going through uncertain times this week with a special, not Saturday. And then we'll be back January 2nd at our regular time on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. This one time is a special watch along, delayed from Saturday to Monday with Tapestry. No overriding topic. We're just going to watch Tapestry and talk about it and chat about it afterwards. Always live chat for everybody to be there too. Okay? That's the first time. You guys are the first to hear about our subject matter. The vote in the community was for 1 o'clock Pacific, so that's what we're going to do. So we will see you then. All over the place. It's holiday week. If Hanukkah was your thing, hope you had a glorious, beautiful, bright Hanukkah. If Christmas is around the corner, hope you're finding a way to celebrate as everyone, Kwanzaa, everything, whatever you're doing right now. Hopefully you're finding a safe and still fun way to do it through the pandemic. Please be safe. Please be smart out there, guys. Please, please, please. I just want to say also, where you're watching on YouTube right now, that's Larry Nemecek. That's my Twitter. On Facebook, Larry Nemecek's Trekland. That's our Instagram. And, of course, portal47.net, your mini-con all year long, no matter where your center seat is. And if you're thinking about jumping in, you can look at portal47.net, but take the special button and get the deal right now, even for yourself. And if you're leaving us right now, that's it. Please, everybody, as I said, stay healthy. It's going to be dark for a few more weeks on that front. Stay woke. Always check your sources and who it is you think you're talking to online. And as always, trek well, everybody.